I'm going to do a collective reading today. The focus of the reading is Mercury, Gemini, and the 12th house. So there's a real focus on communication with the divine, on extrasensory abilities, on cultivating intuition and spiritual practices that help you to feel connected to yourself. Maybe that's your higher self, your intuition, your guides, your ancestors, deities that you work with. The 12th house can be a very spiritual place, for lack of a better word. The 12th house is a place that in astrology was once considered a house of solitude, of at times insanity and imprisonment, whether that's literal imprisonment or imprisonment within the mind, a feeling of deep isolation and otherness at times, where the 12th house brings us to endings and to release and surrender. And so there's this quality that can be deeply isolating and for some people scary with the 12th house, because you can't rely on your typical senses with the 12th house. You have to kind of rely on the voice, whether that's the voice that comes from within or from above or from all around, or however you relate to that. And so the 12th house, for many people who have strong 12th house placements, can be a difficult experience. I have my natal sun and Mercury in the 12th house, and that used to be extremely difficult for me, and at times it still is difficult. But I would not change it for the world, because it also gifts me with a unique ability to communicate with the beyond and to trust in the beyond and to translate the messages and the downloads that I get from the beyond. And so in this reading, we're going to pull some cards and get a general message for folks who are relating to this theme. And let's see what guidance or insight comes up today. Okay, so you might hear some puppy noises in the background, but the cards we have here are the Six of Swords, the Devil, and the Eight of Cups. So the Six of Swords is an Aquarius card. The Devil is a Cap card. The Eight of Cups is a Pisces card. So those signs could be significant in addition to Mercury, Virgo, and Pisces again. So we have air and water and a little bit of earth coming through. And the sense that I get here is that for a lot of us, we're stepping away from a really challenging situation or pattern that has had a strong hold on us. When I see the Six of Swords coming up, followed by the Devil, followed by the Eight of Cups, there's a real energy of release, both emotional release, but also like psychic, spiritual, energetic release. And so for lots of you, it may be that you've been dealing with an ongoing addiction, with a relationship or a pattern that's really had its hooks in you. And this is a theme and topic that's been coming up a lot in collective readings that I've been doing, needing to release and let go of something that we know has reached its end, that has potentially done a lot of damage, that has potentially kept us really stuck in a place of inertia and pain. And for a lot of you, this could be more self-destructive habits or sort of like self-abandonment, self-betrayal, fill in the blank. And the overall sense here is that we now understand that this needs to go. Maybe we're in the process of moving away from it, but it also still has a little bit of like a death rattle that's happening here. The Devil can be a very compulsive energy. It can bring us toward the things that have an extremely tight hold on us because we have a strong attachment to them. And of course, that often comes from a place of pain. Like we're yearning for something, we're needing something, and we're trying to fill that with something, but that something can often become addictive or compulsive or kind of like add to our pain in a way. And so there's a message coming through here first about harm reduction. And I want to state for the record, like I'm not a mental health professional. I am not an addiction counselor, and I don't have expertise in these areas, but I am someone who's dealt with addiction myself and loved a lot of addicts and a lot of people who had addictive, compulsive behaviors. And one of the things that typically I have seen and found is that there's so much grief that's below that. And often when we're in a place of grief, we reach outside of ourselves. And if it's profound grief and profound trauma, we'll often reach outside ourselves without realizing that that something is also causing us harm. Or it could be that that harm feels justified, or it feels safe because that's what's familiar to us. And so there's something here about needing to be with the grief, and maybe there's a relationship or a job or a home or a way of life that you have lost at some point and had to step away from, and you found yourself moving towards something that had a really tight grasp on you because it seemed to kind of distract you from that pain. It seems like you have built up coping strategies and resources that can support you, and that this, whatever behavior or thing, fill in the blank with what makes sense for you, whatever has had a grip on you, you now have other things that can support you in gently letting go of that. But there's also a need to have faith in your power, and maybe to zoom out a little bit and get kind of a wider perspective on your life and on your life choices, and to show yourself compassion for the choices you had to make at various points in your life in order to survive. And it might not be like rational, right? Like sometimes we make choices that on their surface look bad or wrong. And yet in that moment, there was a part of us that needed that in order to just get through. And so there's a call here for you to extend compassion to your past self, and also to come back to your present self and to recognize the agency and power that you have. This came through in a personal reading I did for myself this morning. And so a little bit of detachment and a little bit of perspective could really aid you. And if visualization is helpful, you can actually imagine yourself zooming out and seeing your life choices as a sort of map, and all of these branches of choices that you made that led this way and that way and this way and that way, and to come to appreciate the blessings that also resulted from those choices, even if they didn't appear to be blessings at the time that they occurred. And so a little bit of perspective, a lot of compassion, and a recognition of your own power. The Eight of Cups comes up when something has proven to be unfulfilling to us, and yet we have a deep emotional investment in it, and so it's hard for us to walk away. We may say, like, or see, this is not bringing me joy, this is not feeling like a right fit, I know that I need to step away, and still I need to honor the emotions that are tied up in this thing, this person, this habit, whatever. So try to be gentle with yourself as you move through that, and try to affirm your power and recognize that the choices you made in the past got you to where you are, along with a whole bunch of other circumstances you could not control, and that you're in the position you are now, and you have the power to make choices that are more in line with your current authentic self and who you want to be. And it's okay that you haven't already behaved in that way, or at least haven't consistently behaved in that way, because we're all on our own little growth trajectory and just trying to figure it out. All right? I love you. I hope that's helpful. And if you're interested in a personal reading, you can find the link in my bio. Bye.